Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Yashika. Good morning, Aryan. So we will begin in the meantime that others join in. Good morning, guys. You're allowed to use the chat box to respond. Good morning, Aryan. Okay. So just to give an introduction about myself, I am your trainer for your tax exam, and I'm Anshu Budhia, and I carry a post-qualification experience of more than 14 years and an overall teaching experience in ACCA for more than 9 years now. And I've been taking taxes, I think, almost for the last 5 years on a continuous basis. Okay, and we have had fabulous results in taxes with multiple ranks. So I think it more than 10 ranks at least that I can think of only in taxes. So we have got wonderful performances of students, and I'm expecting and I'm hopeful that you guys will also be reciprocating on the same lines. And I'm really hopeful that that we are going to have a wonderful tax session. So you have any questions, any queries, anytime, you all are free to ask me these queries, these questions multiple times. Okay, have your queries resolved there and there, have perfect conceptual clarity. You are not able to solve questions, then make sure that you are getting the clarity in the class so that the question solving is also much easier for everyone. Okay, any questions, any doubts that you have? Yeah, I'm providing you the WhatsApp query support as well. Though we really encourage to have the doubts resolved while in the live sessions only. With the major reason that when you get the clarity in the class only, things become much easier. You're able to understand them much better way rather than just relying on WhatsApp. So please resort to getting your queries solved while within the class that you are there. Okay. Now, you know that your tax syllabus is a pretty vast syllabus. It is an extensive syllabus, but it is very interesting because it is one of those few skills papers which are almost, I would say, 70% based on calculations. So this gives you, a kind of more interest in studying the subject, in solving the question, and handling those exam questions. Okay, before I begin and I tell you more about this syllabus, if there is any question in your minds, please put that in the chat box. Any questions that you have. Aryan, dear, you don't have any questions? Anything that you have to speak? Or you sorry, you have to ask? Please type it in the chat box. Okay, Ashika. So let's proceed. Now, I'm going to be first giving you a brief up about your tax syllabus, how extensive it is, what are we going to cover, and one of the reasons that why should somebody go for a tax paper? Okay, why should somebody go for a tax paper more seriously rather than just with the aim of passing the exam? Like, for example, I am a tax professional as well. So I'm a tax consultant. I give consultancies about the direct taxes matters. Okay, that means what? It is one of my professional area. It is my career area, and I've been able to hold on this area for long. So I am an audited tax professional. Okay, so tax offers you a very diverse field for your career option also, and it is one of the most demanding career options because every country has taxes, right? So they always need a team. Every company needs a team for a very, a wonderful tax experts. So being ACCA, and I mean, you can be a wonderful tax expert as well. So you start with taxes at skills and you progress to ATX also in the P level. So this gives you a very well understanding of basics taxes for UK taxes in the skills level. At the advanced level, you discuss about the professional, the overseas taxes, the cross-border taxes. So you're building upon the knowledge that you've gained in F6 taxes. Hence, F6 taxes is a very, very important and a very core area when it comes to knowing about the UK taxes, because here we discuss the basics of taxes quite in detail. Okay, so let's quickly have an understanding about your tax exam paper. Shall I just share the screen? Let me just share the screen. Just give me a minute. Okay, people, let's understand your exam pattern. First thing, it's very, very clear that your exam is completely CBE based. That means it is completely computer based examination. You don't have an option for manual giving of the exams. Okay, that means you are not going to write your exam on a pen, on a paper with a pen. You will use paper and pen for your rough work when you're appearing for center based exam. So just look here. Tax exam is a complete computer based exam that we also call as CBE. Okay. Time allotted would be 3 hours and maximum marks are 100 marks. Now, there are two ways that you can appear for the exam. Either you can give a center based exam or you can go for a remote based exam. Okay. Time allotted would be 3 hours and maximum marks would be 100 marks. This is clear. Now the next thing. You can appear for the exams out of the two modes. Either you can give a center-based exam or you can give a remote-based exam. Center-based exam means you're going to the center, to the nearest center that you will get yourself registered with, or you will select that center from the My ACCA platform when you're booking for your exams. So you will select the center and you can go and appear at the center. You'll have the computer set up completely over there. You just have to carry your ID cards. Okay, that is your exam center admit card and your ID card. And then at the center, you would be given two sheets of paper and a pen to do rough work. That is only for rough work. And that is strictly limited to two sheets and a pen only. You cannot carry your own paper and all. Not allowed. You will give your exam and then you will be submitting it and you will come back. When you're giving a remote based exam, that is generally, you're giving the exam from your home, then you should have your active networks, internet working properly. There should not be any hindrance, there should not be any disturbance. And when you're giving a remote based exam, you're not allowed to use physical paper. You are not allowed to use physical paper. Okay, so in that case, you will use the scratch pad which is available on screen. I will show you there when we navigate to a CBE platform. Okay, so you will use that. This is the way that you will give your exam. Minimum passing marks is 50 marks. So I'll write here minimum percentage. Minimum pass marks are 50%. Clear? Minimum pass marks are 50%. Now let's see your exam pattern also, the paper pattern. So the paper pattern would be section A, section B, section C. Section A will have 15 MCQ questions. Now, when I say MCQ, they can be fill in the blanks question also, they can be a matching question also, they can be drop down question also, or they can be questions where you have to select two correct options, three correct options, okay, or you just have to fill in the values. So, these kind of different scenarios can be asked in these MCQ questions. 15 MCQ questions will be there, each for 2 marks. So total would be 15 into 2, 30. Section B also, you'll have 15 MCQ questions, each for 2 marks, but here it is a case scenario based environment. Okay, so I will write here 2 scenarios will be there, 3 case studies will be there, 3 case studies or different scenarios will be there, each having 5 questions, 5 MCQ questions. And each for 2 marks. So again, here also you'll have 3 scenarios, each having 5 questions and each is for 2 marks. So again, this section is also for 30 marks. Hi, good morning, Vidisha. Okay. Now, next section C. Section C, you will have 3 questions. 3 log format questions, we call them. 3 log format questions. And the structure would be one question would be from anywhere in the syllabus. Okay, anywhere in the syllabus, and that will be for 10 marks. Now, one question will be for individual taxes. Okay, so that will be again for 10 marks. Oh, sorry, 15 marks. And one question will be from corporation taxes. Okay, and that will be for 15 marks. So in total, you will have 10 plus 15 plus 15. Okay, 40 marks. I'll repeat this again. Okay, I'll repeat this again, everyone. So you'll have your paper divided into 3 sections. Section A, Section B, Section C. Section A and B are MCQ questions where you don't have to write anything. You just have to select the drop-down option, match it, select the correct options, true or false, fill in the figures, but you don't have to show calculations anywhere. So for Section A and B, for Section A and B, Okay, what is advised is use calculator. Use calculator and use rough papers. Why? Because you're not required to show the calculations anywhere, right? So when you're not required to show the calculations anywhere, you're going to use rough sheets, you're going to use a calculator, get the correct calculations done, and select the answer. But for section C, but for section C, we will use Excel, preferably the CB platform Excel to solve questions. Why? Okay, why? Because in the exam, you will not be using the calculator for this section. You will have log format. It is in this section C questions. You'll have to show the workings. You'll have to do the calculations, write the theory. But whatever it is, you have to present the full answer to the examiner, and that you will be presenting in the Excel, which is there on the CB platform. Got it? So this is how we navigate. This is section C. This is section A and B. Few more pointers to note. It's section A and B. If you getting the correct answer, then only you will get 2 marks. If you get wrong answer, you will get 0 marks. If you have got part answer correct and part wrong, still you will get 0. For example, you have the question says select which of the two options are correct. You are selecting only one correct option, and and the other option that you've selected is wrong. So you got one correct option and one wrong option. But still, you will not get 1 marks. Okay, you will get 0 marks only. These two sections are basically checked on the computer system. Okay, so where the algorithm is, if you get both correct, then only you will get 2. If you get even one wrong, you will get 0. Got it? So these two are very, I mean, I would say that they look very easy, but they are the most technical areas. Because if there is a slight mistake, you get 0, right? And in section C, I find it more comfortable because here we have step marking approach. These are manually checked by the examiner. Okay, so you write a question, you got one step wrong. Don't be worried because for the remaining steps that you've done correct, you'll get step marking. Got it? So here you're not losing full marks. Still, you'll get going to get more marks. So what is your aim going to be when you are giving the exam? Your aim should be to get to appear, to solve 100% paper and do not leave any portion of the paper. So I've seen students, they always say, ma'am, section C is very challenging. Section C, we are petrified with. Please don't be. Please don't be. Because section A and B, according to me, are not very easy. The reason being, you don't get step marks over there. So it's very easy to lose marks, even with a slight mistake. On the contrary, section C, you will get step marks. So I find it is the section that will really help you to score higher marks. Okay, so please give equal weightage to all sections when you're preparing for the exam. Do not keep section C for the end, which is generally the tendency of the students to do section A and B more and keep section C for the end. Please do not keep it. Okay, so now any questions so far? Any questions so far that you have? Yashika, Vidisha, and Aryan. Vidisha, any questions? You all can mark messages to everyone. No need to mark to me directly. Aryan, any questions? You there? Vidisha, Yashika and Aryan? Okay, fine. Let's proceed. Okay, now a quick question. Have you all visited your ACCA global platform? Quickly. How often do you use the study support resources from there? How often do you use them? Have you really read through the articles for any of the papers that you have studied earlier? Have you used the technical articles, the examiner's report from there? So you have just used it to solve questions. That is your past papers, right? Okay. Have you used the CV platform? Sorry. Have you used the study support resources to access your study hub? Have you accessed study hub, guys? Very good. Okay. So now I need to make you all completely be in line with the study support resources, the vast area of resources which is provided to you by ACCA. And they're free. Okay, so they're free and this is vast. This is all going to help you for additional question solving. Many times question students come to me, right? And they tell me that, ma'am, which are the other alternative books or, the other areas from where I can take up questions, I can solve more questions. You don't need those alternative books to solve questions when you have study hub with you. Apart from your main textbook, you will have study hub more than enough. Past papers, more than enough. You don't need to get access to other different books and get the PDFs of it and get confused. So even if you do 100 questions, you do it properly, it's more than enough. You do 200 questions, do it properly, more than enough. Okay, and your book material has a lot of questions. Study hub has a lot of questions. Then they are past papers. You are done. Okay, don't need to go anywhere else for more questions. So let's have the navigation to your study support resources. Okay, let's have an idea and let complete understanding of how your ACCA platform makes your life even more easier. I'll just share the screen. Sorry. So this is, I'm directly on the study support resources. Okay. So I'm directly on the study support resources from ACCA, which I'm sure you all can navigate and come to this place. I'm on taxes. So let's look at the different areas which are very, very good to be very, very useful to you. First and the foremost is looking at the syllabus because this gives us an idea about what are the changes in the syllabus. Okay, so I'll look into UK and there are some minor changes that are not reflected here. Always remember that. So this is the syllabus and I would directly go to your changes. So these are the summary of changes, the major changes that have taken place for your UK tax exam. We'll make sure that all these changes, we are using them, incorporating them in our notes. Apart from this, there are minor changes also, like in the tax rates, the dividend rates and all, which I will incorporate in my notes so that when you're reading through it, you would know what are the changes that have taken place. Okay? Yeah. So this is first thing. You should always look into the changes that have taken place in the syllabus that you are studying. Always. Okay? Now, the next thing. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay, the next thing, past exams and question practice, which I'm sure you all have navigated to. Like you said, you have discussed, you have seen the questions. So we always navigate from here. We'll have a look at the past exams and the questions. So just, I'm also going to log into the practice platform, and I want to discuss few things that you have to ensure that you are incorporating in your exam preparation approach from day one only. You're not going to wait for the syllabus to end and then you will incorporate. Like, number one, when you go to taxes, blank workspace is something that you're going to start using from day one only. Why? Because the section C questions that we will be discussing in the class and that you will be doing in your homework, that you will be practicing also. Please try to use maximum section C questions that you are practicing yourself in the blank workspace. This will help you to navigate with the ECB platform much easier, and this will make you absolutely comfortable with this platform, so that you don't find any challenges when you're giving the final exam. And it also, in fact, when you're giving your mock exams, then also you're not finding any challenges. Now, I will select the version UK. These are the official resources. See the past papers that you have: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 past papers, 3 practice exams, and 1 specimen exams. Approximately 12, 13 papers you always have with you. Then make it a plan that you will be solving all the papers before you give your exams. Why? Because these are real environment papers, so you would know what the kind of exam papers that you would also be facing. Although for taxes, the scope gets reduced because they are based on older syllabus. For us, what is applicable is 24-25, right? So you will be having this syllabus applicable. So you will see the relevant paper, although you can solve the last year paper also, just make changes. And you can send it to me for evaluations. I'll make the changes and I will evaluate it. That's also okay. ACCA releases always pre-March. Like here, the March attempt went by. So we have pre-March mock. When the June attempt will be nearby, almost 3 weeks prior to it, ACCA, launches, or basically ACCA assigns the pre-June mock also. So which is generally expected that the students would always be trying. Okay, so I mean, just to give you more practice for the paper. Make sure you're using it. Now taking further the areas, this is also very important area that I want you to visit: technical articles. Okay, I will select the UK articles. Now what is more relevant for you is, like, just see for your exam sitting. For your exam sitting, here more articles will be released now. You can have a look at it because right now the articles that are belonging or relating to your year have not been released. So when they release in the due course, please have a look. And also where there is no major changes like VAT, like inheritance tax, which is similar to what it was the last year, you can always follow these technical articles also. Technical articles give you more examples, more insights, and more details, right? So it's always better to use technical articles, and it's always preferred to use technical articles also in your exam approach. Okay, next. So these are all the resources that you can use wonderfully. You can use these resources and they will help you in a better preparation of your exams. Okay, now next. So we have discussed about the technical articles, we have discussed about the past exams, we have discussed, now we are going to be discussing about the ACCA Study Hub. Okay, ACCA Study Hub is a resource. So Aryan, I want you to use your ACCA Study Hub from day one only. Everybody, you're going to use your ACCA Study Hub from the first chapter onwards, because it has got quizzes every chapter wise. Then it has got some sections B, section C questions also. And one of the most interesting fact about ACCA Study Hub is we have seen it as a pattern that many times questions similar to ACCA Study Hub are clicked in the exam. Okay, so it is always going to give you more confidence as well. It's got solutions there also. The solutions understanding also. So you can always look at the solutions and get the understanding in case if you have got a wrong answer. Otherwise, you can always send those questions to me and I will explain those questions to you. So ACCA Study Hub, technical articles, past exam papers and library. And then we have examiner's report. Examiner's report, I always say that please, it's very important. Look at the heading, what it is given. Observations and constructive advice from the market process. So it is report prepared by your examiners. Those have examined your papers and it's their observations regarding, the answering generally to some of the questions. So typically, where was the approach wrong adopted by the students? Where was it adopted correctly by the students? And what was their approach? What is their expectation? How you should be going ahead with the paper. So we should always visit examiner's report. There are multiple examiner's report given to you. I will make sure that in the class we will have discussion of at least one examiner's report. And there are almost 7 8 examiners report given to you. Advised is at least to visit the last two examiners report, and then you can visit as much as possible. Okay, because that will give you the outlook of examiners, that what is their expectation and what should be the correct way of answering, and where you've gone wrong, and where you might go wrong, and where you can correct yourself. Okay, so this is a very very good resource given by ACC. Now moving ahead. So we have discussed about the examiner's report, we have discussed about the syllabus, the study hub, past papers, and question practice, technical articles, then mocks exam, of course. Now please just remember, whenever you have a mock exam which is given by ACCA, they always have these debrief videos also. That is, debrief videos are simply the briefing up of the videos, the briefing up of the questions and the solutions by the examiners, right? Or by the experienced tax experts. So, of course, it's very advised that when you are appearing for the pre-mock exams, please have a look at the debrief videos also. That gives you more deeper understanding on how to solve the questions and where you have gone wrong, why it has gone wrong, and so on. So these are again free resource given by ACC. Last but not the least, we have these pass rates. So consistently, the pass rates have been around 53, 54, 55%. On the contrary to it, with VGLD, we are having a pass rate of always a minimum of 70, 75%. Minimum, which generally goes up to 85, 90% also. But minimum 75% is generally what we have for our batches. Okay. So of course, plus 5, 10%, it increases only quarter on quarter basis. Okay. Any questions that you have till this point, please tell me, because in this orientation session also, we are trying to understand about the syllabus and the approach that is correct, how the approach should be used when you're going ahead with your exams, when you're going ahead with your papers, when you're going ahead with your prep. So please, if you have any questions, any concerns, any queries till this point, anything in your mind, please put that in the chat box so that we can discuss about it and I can give you clarity for this year. Okay, now let's proceed to our chapters, to our syllabus. No, okay, before I go ahead, I need to show you one mock exam. Excuse me. Okay, let's suppose I'm just opening the specimen exam. Okay, please just have a look at my screen. Not this is the exam paper exactly that will be coming in front of you. The kind of this only that says section A has 15 objective type questions and each question is worth 2 marks and is compulsory. You don't have optional questions in ACCA. Total worth marks of this section is 30 marks. Okay. And calculations and workings would always be made to the nearest pound. So you're not leaving your answers in decimals. All apportionments should be made to the nearest month. We don't apportion to the nearest day. So we always do calculations in month. Now let's look at the first question. Suppose there is a first question here. I have it's a select it's an option where just I have to select only one option. So suppose I select one option and I proceed ahead. Then here it says 2, correct? I'll select 2 options. Now guys, please just pay attention. Now out of this, for example, if my one option is correct and one is wrong, I will not get 1 marks. I will get straight away 0 marks only. Likewise, I'm moving to the next one and here it asks me to fill in only values. So I will only answer with the number. Going to the next one, again it is asking you to select one option. Here it is a drop down. So I will have to select one option from the drop down. The figures are already given to you. I have to select from the drop down. Okay, now here there are 4 options and it is asking me. Suppose I select 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of which 3 are correct and 1 is wrong, I'll get 0. I will not get any marks. Okay, yeah, that's the difficult part of section A and B. Now I'll use navigator and I can see which portions are complete, which are incomplete. When you're navigating through it, you have an option of flagging also. Flagging is only for yourself that if I flag it, it gives me an indication that look, okay, I need to come back to the question because I've not completed it. And I did not want to waste time, so I flagged it. You know, always remember to flag your question. And you can always come back, complete it, and then you can unflag it. Okay, so flagging is just to indicate that the question is pending for review. It needs to be reviewed. Now, let's see the second section B. I've not seen it yet, but now I'll select section B's question number 16. So look here what I mean by case study. This is a case study given to you. You can always zoom it also, and you can move to the you can always zoom it for reading purposes. Okay, now the case study is given to you and you have to solve the questions. So you will select the option based on this case study. I go to next question, then I go to the next question. So 5 questions will be based on this case study and then the next case study would be there. Let's go to section C also, one question. This is section C. Again, a case study is given to you and based on which you have a question and you have some, instructions. You see, this is with CV platform. You have to do the complete scrolling also and then only you'll proceed to the next page. So if you're not very accustomed to this platform, you will get wasted of time. You will waste your time because you're not very comfortable with this section, with this proper way. Again, I'll have to use the scroll bars. Now you can see that the scenario has changed where it wants you to calculate the taxable income. So all the details are given to you. Now, one more way, though I'll be teaching you this when we do section C questions. When you are reading section C questions, guys, please remember you should use highlighter. Suppose I want to come back to this information later on, then I will select this and maybe I'll just highlight it. Okay, I will select it, I will highlight it. Always use the highlighter tool because this helps you to come back to this portion. And when you're solving the question, instead of reading the entire portion again, you can just concentrate on the highlighted portion. Some portions that you don't want to have your focus at all and which is completely irrelevant, for example, you can use the strike through option also. That will cancel it off. So please make use of these options. You have an on-screen calculator also. This is scientific. You can select standard. But I always recommend to use your calculator only for section A and B questions. Actually, you should use the same calculator in the class that you're going to use in the exam. So you'll have a habit of practicing on it. This is the scratch pad that I said. This is the online rough paper. Whatever you write here will not be saved. Once your exam is submitted, this will be removed. Okay, this will be eliminated. So I hope I'm clear for the CB platform access. Okay, and once you're done, you will submit your exam. Now, another only for taxes, though it is more relevant, that is, you will have your tax tables also with you. These are exam instructions and these are the tax tables. Tax tables are basically some of those data which is available to you, which you do not have to really remember. Okay, because this would be given to you here, so you can always relate to it when you're appearing for your exam. Any questions, any doubts, please put them in the chat box. Regarding the CBE paper, the attempt, that is how the CBE platform looks like. Any questions, any doubts? Okay. No, absolutely clear. Fine. Now I think we can go to the main area of your syllabus and we can discuss the first portion of your syllabus. Just allow me a minute. I'll get water and you can also, I'll give you, okay, sorry. One thing I've not discussed, very important, is how your exam classes would be going on. You'll have a 3 hour class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, morning 8 to 11. And after you've completed a certain number of chapters, I will take 1 mark. So the plan is to take 2 marks while the syllabus is going on. And once your syllabus is over, then 1 or 2 marks depending upon your responses. Okay. So these 3 to 4 marks is my plan to take for you. Now another generally towards the end of the class, the last 15-20 minutes, of course, leaving today's session, the last 15-20 minutes would be dedicated to questions. That means whatever portions we have covered today, I give always homework questions. It's just, apart from the homework questions that I will be giving to you, the last 20 minutes would be where I'll give you time to recap through what we have done today. Okay, whatever we'll do on that day of the class, and then you will solve questions in the class pertaining to that day's topic. So this will serve two purposes. First, it will ensure that you are conceptually clear and you are able to apply that knowledge. Number two, it will give you confidence and it will give you a system. Okay, system where you are in the pattern that you will follow and you will study parallelly with the class. I hope this pattern is okay for everyone. If you have any questions, you can put up in the chat box or if you have any concerns. I will give you the date in advance for your mock test. Always remember that. But always study parallelly because I will not give you much time to prepare. Okay? Because I will carry an expectation that you are studying parallelly with the class. Okay. Now, another very important point is students ask me, ma'am, will there be any break in between? Yes. I'll give you 10 minutes break also in between so that you can rejuvenate yourself, you can refresh yourself, and there is no need to stretch your brain. It will give you a break. Okay? Yes, so today I'll give you a break right now only for 10 minutes because today we'll not have a session for 3 hours. We'll have a reduced time session since the full-fledged sessions would start from the next class. Okay, so let's have a break for 10 minutes and then we'll begin the first chapter and the first topics that we will study. So it's 8:55. We'll resume around 9:05. Please do not leave the session. Be there only because we'll start with the first chapter and the topics of it. Okay, people. I think we can resume and we can begin with the first topics discussion for your tax systems. Yes, please, Vinod. Everybody is with me in the class. You all are there? Great, great, great. Today's session is only till 10. Just a 2 hour session today. Wednesday onwards, we'll have 3 hour sessions. Okay? So focus on my screen and let's have an understanding of the system. First thing, let's understand how this UK tax system operates. Not going into the administrative function, but the taxes functions. Like, what are the taxes that are applicable to individuals? What are the taxes which are applicable to corporations? And which are the taxes that are applicable to both individuals and corporations? When I say individuals, I would mean the sole traders, I would mean employees, I would mean the directors, the partners, all, everybody, they are covered within the definition of an individual. Okay, so everybody is covered in the definition of individuals. When I say corporations, in UK we say corporations, in India we call it as companies. Okay, so companies is or the corporations that is the incorporated bodies is what we talk about as or what we refer to as corporations. So these are the two category of entities that we describe in UK. Only these two categories. Okay, in India, we have a lot of description of other entities as well, but here we just have these two entities because taxability ultimately comes upon these two entities only, individuals or corporations. Clear? Now, individuals, which are the taxes which are applicable to individuals? So, number one, we have income tax liabilities. That is, we say no that calculate XYZ's income tax. So, when you are paying income tax means you are paying for an individual. Okay, the category of a taxpayer is an individual. So income tax liabilities are calculated for an individual. Then national insurance corporations, again, it's more like a tax only, though we don't call it as an income tax. What is NIC? I'll just quickly give you an understanding. This we also call it shortcut as NIC. NIC means what? Now, you've seen or you've heard that in UK and various European countries, government aided schemes are there for the health facilities. There are a lot of facilities available to the residents or the citizens there for the various health initiatives which are undertaken by the government, right? So every resident there or every individual over there, they have to contribute to the national insurance schemes of the government for the country as a whole. And the contributions that they make is known as national insurance contributions. There is a chapter dedicated to it. We will understand how do we calculate the NICs, what are the different NICs applicable. Because national insurance contribution would be applicable if you're an employee or you're a self-employed person or you're an unemployed person. Okay, in all the cases, if you're meeting the criterias, then only NIC will be applicable. If you're not working, you're not earning anything, then NIC will not be applicable. So it is generally applicable, I would say, better to the employees and to the self-employed individuals. It is not applicable to companies. It is only applicable to individuals and that is their NIC gets deducted. Okay. Now, the companies can also have the NIC angles from the point of view being an employer. So when they're an employer, they will have to deduct NICs for their employees. So NIC is just like when you in India, what happens when you're contributing to PF and all, the amount gets deducted from your salary. But at the time of retirement, you get that money back as a corpus, right? So in NIC, what happens? We get deductions every month, every year for the national insurance schemes. But then upon retirement, you will not get anything in return. Okay, you will not get anything in return. Instead, you are being given those medical facilities by the government. So in India also we have a concept of ESI, Employee Stake Insurance Corporation, the contributions. So that is also like NIC only, where you're making contributions, but you're not going to get any money in return. You're only going to get facilities or the services in return. Same concept for NIC. Okay, so NIC is applicable to employees, NIC is applicable to the self-employed people as well. And NIC is applicable on employers also. Their contribution is also deducted. Okay, they also have to contribute. Apart from employees, they will also contribute to the corpus. So we discussed that income tax is applicable to individuals, NIC is applicable to individuals. Chargeable gate taxes, that is CGT, chargeable gate tax. Okay, chargeable gate tax is also applicable to individuals. So I will write here tax. Okay, CGT that we call, that is when you have a capital gain tax in a simple word, is applicable to individuals. Then to individuals, one more tax is applicable, inheritance tax. We are going to study all of them, don't worry. Inheritance means when you're gifting, to another individual, to another trust, I mean, then you have taxes applicable. Also, when you're passing on your wealth as a part of a will, okay, when a person dies, then also inheritance tax is applicable. We'll study through it in detail. So these are the taxes which are applicable to an individual: income tax, inheritance tax, chargeable gain tax, and ICs. To the corporations, we have corporation tax liability. So we have corporation tax applicable, whether it's a group company or an individual company. Okay, now you will say, ma'am, that means no capital gain tax is applicable to corporations. No, because on the capital gains also that the corporations have, they will pay corporation tax only. So only one tax is applicable, which is corporation tax. Okay, now there comes another tax, which is VAT, value added tax. Just like we have GST in India, we have VAT in UK. So what VAT is applicable to both individuals and corporations. Okay, so this is a common tax for both individuals and corporations. Then comes the next pointer, which is again very important to understand. That is direct tax and indirect tax. Let's take the examples here. I will say that income tax, chargeable gain tax, inheritance tax, NIC, corporation tax, these are all direct taxes. All direct taxes. VAT is the only indirect tax. Can any one of you give me the reason in the chat box why I said so? Why I said that corporation tax, income tax, chargeable gain tax, inheritance tax are direct taxes, and VAT is an indirect tax. Can you please type it in the chat box and tell me why you have said so, or why I have said so? Can you give me the distinction? Then why these are direct tax and why this is an indirect tax? Quickly, I give you a minute. Please type it in the chat box. What do you think? Okay, why it is a direct tax and why it is an indirect tax? Nobody knows the reason. Aryan, no reasons. Vidisha, Yashika, can you make out? Is corporation tax also directly deducted from their income and salaries? Yashika? No, right? Okay, so let's have an understanding of why these are direct taxes and why VAT is an indirect tax. Tax charged on income, chargeable gains, wealth. These taxes are collected directly from the taxpayer. That means when the individual is earning their income, like income tax, like income, employment income, property income, then the taxes are applicable on the income itself, and they will be collected from the income only, right? Whether it's a chargeable gain tax, inheritance tax, anything. Okay, that means it is my income. I am earning it. The responsibility to pay taxes is also mine. That means they will go out of my income only. Okay, when you talk about corporations, companies have earned their income. right? And from their income only they have to bear the taxes. So that is why we say it's a direct tax, because it is tax applicable or directly on the income of the individual or the corporations. So Yashika, you were correct. When I say indirect tax, what happens with VAT? You go to a shopkeeper, right? You buy certain things, and the bill says total value is 100. There is VAT or GST applicable, and the total value is 120. So what do? You pay 120. Who's paying the tax? You as a buyer. Who is collecting it? Seller. Or who is depositing it to the government? Seller. So there are two entities involved. I am paying as a buyer. You are collecting as a seller. Is it directly taxed on the income? No, nowhere the income is involved. It's directly taxed on the transaction, the goods and services transaction which is going on. So one party is the collector, one party is the payer. Hence we call it as indirect tax. So tax which is charged on goods and services, because tax is paid by the buyer and is collected and deposited to HMRC by the seller or the service provider. Hence we call it as indirect tax. For example, VAT. Am I clear till this point? Any questions, any queries? Clear? Guys, come on, show me your energies. So I would be asking you more questions now. Now, coming to the next topic. Okay, I hope it is clear, right? And I will be sharing these notes, so don't worry, you don't have to write really anything. The next is, what is the income tax department of our country called? HMRs, income tax department, right? But what is the income tax department of UK known as HMRC? What is the full form? Her Majesty Revenue and Customs. Okay, so basically, Her Majesty is because in UK, which is a monarchy-based system that is followed, everything is referred to the Queen. And we say Her Majesty, Revenue and Customs for the income tax portions. So income tax, inheritance tax, corporation tax, VAT, all the taxes, they are dealt by this department, which is HMRC. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Now, what happens when HMRC, HMRC has got all the final authorities, right? It will send you notices, it will initiate assessments, it will, yeah, you have a right to claim, you have a right to file an appeal also against it. Now comes the question that if you're not satisfied with the decision given by HMRC, suppose HMRC is asked for an additional tax payment, you are not satisfied with that, you don't get convinced by it, then what are the steps that you will follow to appeal against an HMRC order? First step, first step is, okay, you will go for a statutory review. What is statutory review? Statutory review would mean that you would get the order reviewed. Okay, get the demand, get the demand or the order reviewed by another official of HMRC or another investigating officer. Okay, and this HMRC, this investigating officer will not be linked with any of the orders that have been passed. So he's going to be a completely uh, non-linked officer. I will say non-linked officer. Okay, I hope I'm clear. So by default, he will go for first step would be to go apply for statutory review. That means if suppose there is Mr. A who has been the investigating officer has passed on additional demand, so he'll put up a request for statutory review. So other officers from the other department would be eligible to conduct it, and the department would assign it, and then they would also give their order. Suppose if their order is still the same, or the demand has not been reduced, or maybe it has not yet be reached the acceptability of the taxpayer, then taxpayer would go for appeal to the courts. That is, number one is they will appeal to the tribunals. Okay, so I'll just write here the next. The second step would be appeal to the tribunals. Tribunals are the tax courts. Okay, tribunals. So first, which tribunal they will apply to? First, they will apply to the first tier tribunal, or we call it as lower tribunal, and then to upper tribunal. Okay, so they will appeal to the first tier tribunal or to the second tier tribunal. Now, also please listen to me very carefully. Ideally, the sequence is from statutory review to first tier to second tier. But then the cases like where there's a lot of complexities and which require urgent attention, or maybe which is really a very complex case. It involves a very big amount, and it is a very very important case. It is not a typical regular case. Then it can even be taken to upper trial directly also instead of going through the chain. So like in India also we have had major cases like Vodafone Idea merger. It was a very very big case that directly reached Supreme Court. It did not go through the different tribunals. Okay, it directly reached upper tribunal and then it went to the Supreme Court. Okay, I hope I'm clear. So I hope we are clear for the type of taxes. We are clear with the tax system. We are clear with the appeals process that is based against the decisions of HMRC. Next, there are different categories of taxes also. See, one category was direct and indirect tax. The next category would be revenue and capital tax. Revenue tax means the tax which is charged on the income. Like income tax is a revenue tax, NIC is a revenue tax, corporation tax is a revenue tax. Okay, but chargeable gain tax and inheritance tax is a capital tax. Why? Because capital gain tax is charged on the assets, the capital assets of the entity, which is a capital asset. Okay. Okay. Clear? So now just look at the categories. I hope it is clear that the tax which is charged on the income is the revenue tax, the tax which is charged on the wealth, and the capitals, which is a capital tax. So like here we have these two capital taxes and the balance are revenue taxes. Okay, I'm discussing these small pointers because these are very hot favorite MCQ questions. These small pointers comes in your objective type questions also many times. Right, so don't be confused. Just get your concepts correct. Now next, I'm discussing the most important basic portion of your taxes syllabus. What is a tax year? Okay, what is a tax year? First, normally, what is a financial year? 1st April to 31st March. What is a calendar year? 1st January to 31st December. Now comes on the same line. What is a tax year? So tax year always begins with 6th April of first year and ends on 5th April of the second year. Okay? 6th April to 5th April. I hope I'm clear. I repeat again. So if I say that my what is the tax year or what is the period for tax year 24-25, focus here on my screen. The period would start on 6th April 24 and would end on 5th April 25. Any confusions? Then please, I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to revert back to me with the answer. And I'll call your names. Vidisha, I want you to give me the first answer. What is this tax year? 6th April 22 to 5th April 23. What I would call the tax year as? Quickly type it in the chat box. Okay. I repeat the question again. You have to tell me how will I call this tax year? 6th April 22 to 5th April 23. We will call this as tax year 22-23. Am I clear? Am I clear with this, Vidisha? Aryan? Yeah. Okay. Are you clear with this? Because I know I'm having cold, but I hope that I'm able to be clearly audible to everyone and you're able to understand what I'm saying. Just report back to me for this. Are you able to understand everything that we have discussed so far? Everything? Aryan, Vidisha, Yashika? Vidisha, are you able to follow everything that we're discussing? Great. Okay. Now, Yashika, can you answer the next one? If I ask you to elaborate this tax year 21-22, what would be the period? Just give me the period. Absolutely correct. 6th April 21 to 5th April 22. Very good. Aryan, can you give me the next one also? 2021. What would be the period? Okay, can you give me the period, Vidisha? Please elaborate this period. 2021 is the tax year. What is the period? Vidisha and Aryan, any one of you can answer? Absolutely correct. Good. And now all of you can answer for this. What would be the tax year for the last one? How would you abbreviate the tax year? Absolutely correct. Very good. I know it looked very basic and very simple, right? But sometimes students get confused in the exam. And hence the example discussion would make it more clear. Okay. Now I come to one of the most important testing areas for your exam. That is tax planning, tax avoidance and tax evasions. Okay. So I want you to focus perfectly on my screen. Okay. I'll give you an example here. Okay. Now suppose you have to file your incomes and you go to a tax expert, or I'll say reverse. People have to file their income and they come to you as a tax expert because then after ACCA you're a tax expert only, right? So they come to you as a tax expert and their query is, so Mr. A comes to Aryan and Mr. A says, Aryan, I'm having an income which is very, very high for the tax year. Can you help me to reduce taxes? Aryan says yes because I'm a tax expert. So there are two ways that Aryan has suggested to reduce taxes. Number one, Aryan says, Mr. A, you do one thing. So Aryan says, Mr. A, okay. So here I'm discussing. Okay. Now Mr. A comes to Aryan. for tax planning. Aryan has suggested, Aryan has suggested two ways. Number one way is Aryan has suggested, he tells Mr. A, do not show interest income, do not show interest income in return. So if Mr. A does not show interest income in the tax return, life is easy, no? He doesn't have to pay more taxes. Or B approach is, Aryan says that your savings interest would have nil rate band. That is up to, let's say, up to 1,000. He suggests to Mr. A that you don't have to pay taxes for your interest. Okay, and like this, he has suggested more tools to reduce tax liability. In both the cases, the tax liability will go down. Correct? I want to know which is the ideal way that Aryan should suggest. Option A or option B? Which way do you support? Option A or B? Because both will reduce tax liabilities. Tell me quickly. Option A or B? Vidisha says option B. Aryan, what do you think? Which is a better way for you? Yashika says option B. Aryan, what do you think? You'll go with option A? Eliminate the income only and thereby reduce the taxes? You tell me. Forget about what is correct and what is wrong. You tell me what generally would you think? If somebody has come to you as a tax planning person, would you give him a suggestion that you reduce the interest income only? You don't show only interest income in your return. If you don't show the income, you don't have to pay taxes. And second option is you are telling them, that person, that look, savings income will have a 0% tax liability up to 1,000. Nil rate band means 0%. 0% tax will applicable up to 1,000. Okay, this is as per the law. So you are saying that you would suggest to that person don't show only the income. And what do you think income tax department will do? They will be happy? Or do you think they will send notices to Mr. A that you have not shown this income? What do you think, Aryan? Don't give me the two options. That's okay. So let's discuss what Aryan is thinking. So there is Mr. A who comes to Aryan for tax planning. Tax planning means what? He wants to reduce the taxes by legal way. Legal way means the way which is allowed by HMRC, which HMRC supports. Do you think that HMRC will support Aryan that look, you do not show income, interest income? Do you think HMRC will support that? I don't think. HMRC will never support to not show the income only, to hide the income or to show lower income. HMRC will not support. So this option is not acceptable. Are you following, Aryan? Next one. This is an option given by HMRC when we study in the next class. HMRC is given the option that look, you want to save your taxes, we are giving you a way to save. You have your interest income subject to certain conditions. If you have interest income up to 1,000, that will be taxed at 0%. Beyond 1,000, you will have taxes applicable. That means up to 1,000, the tax is saved. And are we going any illegal way? Are we hiding information? Are we misleading information? Are we misleading HMRC about anything? Are we showing lower income? No, I'm not doing anything like this. I am doing the presentation of income and disclosure of income absolutely correct way. And there also I'm able to reduce taxes. So what is this? It's a legal way. And since it's a legal way, it is what we call as tax planning. So tax planning is always adopting the legal way to reduce tax liabilities and not doing something which is illegal or which is not allowed by HMRC or which will mislead HMRC. What is case A? So if like Aryan suggested, if Mr. A goes for case A, then this is known as tax evasion. Why? Tax evasion means you are intentionally or unintentionally, you're hiding income, you're showing lower income so that you have lower taxes. So the purpose is to evade tax. The purpose is to, don't pay more full taxes to HMRC. HMRC will not like it, right? So this is known as illegal activity and this is an offense. And this we call as tax evasion. Am I absolutely clear for this basic understanding of what is tax planning and avoidance and what is tax evasion? Tax avoidance and tax planning is the same because tax avoidance also means to lower the tax liabilities. Planning also means to lower the tax liabilities. Both involves adopting the legal ways to lower the tax liability. Quickly put up in the chat box. Are you clear with what is tax planning and what is tax evasion? Any doubts? Any questions? Aryan, are you clear with this or not? Aryan boss, I'm waiting for your revert. Did you understand this or not? Do you know why now in India, why your family members and those who pay, those are having income, why they look for ATC, why they look to make insurance payments, why do they look to buy houses on loans so that they get housing loan interest benefits? So why is this way? Otherwise it would have been simple to hide income, right? Because they want to save taxes by following the legal way so that they don't receive notices, they don't have interest penalties applicable. Great. Very good. Very good. Now comes the next step. Now I am taking you as an ACCA professional. Okay, so here is suppose an ACCA professional, you are an ACCA professional. Okay, that means you have qualified as an ACCA. Take yourself in that place. Okay, and now you have a client. And what is this client doing? This client has entered into tax evasion activities. That means the client is resorting to the tax evasion activities and the purpose is to reduce tax liabilities illegally. Okay, he's not doing the legal way. I want your inputs. Okay, start your thought process and tell me if you are in that position where you are the ACC professional, there is a client who has entered into tax evasion activities. Okay, the client is, for example, hiding their incomes, showing the lower incomes. Instead of 10 lakhs, they are showing 1 lakh. And it is an offense because it is not allowed by HMRC. So, as their professional, as their ACCA, as their auditor, as their tax expert, what is your duty? What would you do in this case? You tell me, please. What would you do in this case when you know the client has entered into tax evasion activities? What should be your approach? Please type it in the chat box. It may be wrong or right, doesn't matter. I'm not judging you. I would just want to know what all thoughts are coming to your mind. What would you do? Okay, Vidisha has given me first point. We'll report to HMRC. The client has entered into these unwanted activities. Okay. What about you, Yashika? What about you, Aryan? What is the immediate thing that you would do once you come to know that client has entered into these offensive activities? Please type it. Type. Just let's have a thought process. What would you do immediately? Tell me. So let's take an example. Okay, Aryan says we'll report to HMRC. Yashika, what do you think? I'll give you another case. So please just type it quickly. Yashika, what would you do as a professional, as a tax expert? You know, if your client is entered into some wrong activities, which is actually leading to tax evasion, what would you do? Be quick. Please be quick and answer it. You're not able to think? Yashika? Okay, so she has added one more point. Report to HMRC or discuss with those charged with governance. Okay, so I give you one more instance, something that is from our day-to-day life. Okay, now you have your father at home. Okay, everyone, give me your honest answer. You have your father at home. You tell your father, I am going for study time with my friends at night. And your parents go to a party place. There they see you. What would be their first reaction? So there they see you and you come back home. Okay, let's just take it in a different case. There they see you, you are shocked, you're stunned, and you all come back together to your home. This is something that, of course, it's not a legal process. It's not the correct way. Like you asked permission for study time and you are there doing party. So your parents, of course, you're not expecting very good responses from them. But whatever it is, put yourself in that position where you took permission for group study and you're there at a party. You come back home. Now, what would be your first reaction of your parents? What would be the first reaction of your parents? Please put up in the chat box. An honest ones, huh? I need. What do you think? Some answers can be that they would resort to the ways as scolding and blah 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 other ways. However, I can have some answers also telling that they would try to make me understand that this went wrong. You are not going to do this again. These are the repercussions if you are not studying and you're doing partying. What are the repercussions? Do you think? Do you agree with me? Which one is your approach, first or second? Come on, respond. What is your approach? Okay. Second, Aryan, next time they don't trust. Good. Yashika, okay. Everybody's on the safer side and they say, okay, approach to that they would try to persuade us. They would try to persuade us and tell us that look, you are going to, these are the cons of going wrong. Now take yourself as the father and take the client as yourself. That means the one who has skipped group study and went for party. What is partying here? Partying here is tax evasion. What is group study? Tax planning. So now you are a tax professional and you come to know that the client has entered into tax evasion activities. You are wrong if you directly report to HMRC. Because first step, what you would do? What you would do as the first step? You would persuade the client. Okay? First step is you will persuade the client that please do not go for such tax evasion activities. So first step, persuade the client. Persuade the client that look, you are going wrong, you will have penalties, interest applicable, it is an offense, and please do not go ahead with this approach. Explain them and try to convince them to so that they disclose all the information to HMRC. But let's suppose the client is not disclosing information to HMRC. The client is not ready to change the stand. Then what would you do? Then, as per ACCA Code of Ethics, you are going to cancel the appointment. That means you are going to resign. Because you will not be a part of these tax evasion activities. You try to persuade the client is not listening to you, you are going to resign. Okay, you're going to resign. And at the same time, then what you will do? You will, because like Aryan said, you're not going to trust the client again. So you are going to resign. And parallelly, what you will do? You will inform HMRC. But what you will inform HMRC? That look, the client has entered into fraudulent activities, the client has entered into tax evasion activities. You cannot do that because it is not proved. They would need to investigate, or only then it will be proved. So what you will do, you will inform HMRC about your resignation. And very, very important point, without giving the reason, okay, without giving the reason for the same. So we will inform HMRC. We will follow the same steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. We will inform HMRC. The ACCA professional would inform HMRC about the resignation. But the ACCA professional will not give the reason for the same. No, they will not give the reason. They will not let HMRC be aware that yes, there are tax evasion activities going on in the organization. Then comes the next question, ma'am. How will HMRC comes to know? So you have a separate step. So what ACCA professional will do? The ACCA professional would prepare a money laundering report, and submit to money laundering officer of the firm. Okay, so it will submit it to the money laundering officer of the firm. That is the firm in which he is a practitioner, like the CA firm and all we call the ACCA firm. So every ACCA firm is generally required to have a money laundering officer. If they have, then they will submit the report to money laundering officer. And it will be like a secret report, not to be shared with anyone. Then either, see now, if he is a sole proprietor, then he doesn't have a money laundering officer in his firm, or the money laundering officer. So sole proprietor or money laundering officer will then submit this report to National Crime Investigation Agency of the country, that is CIA. Okay, National Crime Investigation Agency of the country. So that will be CIA. So then they will submit the report to CIA. of the country. And then CIA will carry on with the investigations and that will be discussed, that will be disclosed with HMRC. So you are not going to disclose this information to HMRC directly. No. CIA will disclose it to the HMRC. Remember that when you're preparing the money laundering report or you're informing to the money laundering officer, this should not be informed to the client. If you do that, then this will be, this will be known as tipping off, and that will be a criminal offense. So please do not go for tipping off. The client should not be made aware of the transactions which are going on, or the investigations that will be going on against the client. Because if you do that, that will be criminal offense to be termed as tipping off. Let's revisit the steps again. Okay, so here, if as an ACCA professional, you know that there are tax evasion activities which are going on within the organization of the client, then the steps to be followed is number one, take steps to persuade the client to correct the material error or disclose full information of the income in returns to HMRC. So either disclose full information or correct the errors. If the client is not ready to change the stand or if the client does not undertake the advices given by the professional, then you would stop working for the client. As per the ACCA Code of Ethics, you will not continue to work for the client, you will do resignation because you would refrain from working for the client. Number three, you will inform HMRC about the resignation, without giving a reason for the same. So you don't have to disclose the reason for the same. This is a very, very important objective type question point and a true and false point. So you will not disclose the reason for the same. Number four, you are going to prepare a money laundering report. Should compulsory be prepared by the professional and submitted to the firm's money laundering officer. If the professional is a sole practitioner, then he will be submitting directly to the crime investigation authority of the country. And even the money laundering officer will also ultimately submit it to the crime investigation authority of the country. Clear with the sequence? If he discloses about the money laundering report to the client or any other third party, it would be termed as tipping off, and which is a criminal offense. So the professional will be charged maybe with an imprisonment and all for this criminal offense. Are you clear with the sequence, everyone? Very, very important sequence. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Absolutely crystal clear? Or any doubts whatsoever, please type it in the chat box. Quickly, any doubts? Crystal clear? Let's have a question discussion and then I will make it off for the day. I'll include homework questions in your notes as well. A quick question discussion. We will be following VGLD book that will be available the next class. I'm giving you a question and I'll just give you 3-4 minutes to solve it. Okay? So please quickly run your brains and solve the same. We're done with the first chapter. Okay, very interesting question. You will answer it. 2 questions. Let's do it. The following acts have been committed in the course of business for one of your clients. Action 1 is a customer invoice was omitted from accounting records in order to push it into the taxable profits of the following tax year. That means it was intentionally removed from the current tax year, so that will push it to the next tax year. Okay. Second, the client decided to gift an asset to the spouse in order to reduce the capital gain tax liability. Because spouse transfers are at no gain, no loss. So we don't have to pay any taxes on it. You tell me which is a tax evasion. Action 1, Action 2, or both the actions, or neither of the actions? Quickly. Go on, be quick. Do you want me to repeat turn back? Please tell me, I'll turn it back. Yashika and Aryan, I want you to be quick. Which is a tax evasion, where it is not the legal way to reduce taxes. Okay. Yashika says second option is a tax evasion. Vidisha says first option. What about Aryan? What do you think? Which is the illegal way of reducing the taxes? Action 1 or action 2? This is action 1. I'm giving you a minute, Aryan. Quickly respond. Aryan, I want you to answer. Okay. Are you clear or are you having doubts? Aryan, tell me because you're taking time to respond. Is this clear or is it doubtful still? Okay. So I'll explain. Okay. I'll again discuss what is tax avoidance and what is tax evasion. Yashika and Aryan, I want your focus. Tax avoidance means you are reducing your tax liability because ultimately you have to pay taxes to HMRC, right? If I am not paying 1 lakh, if I am paying 90,000, I'm better off, right? So everybody wants to reduce their tax liability. One way is you will reduce tax liabilities by following the rules which are given by HMRC. Like in the second case, the client decided to gift asset to the spouse. Spouse means husband or wife. Why it is deciding to gift an asset to the husband or wife? Because HMRC is given that if there is a transfer of asset taking place between husband and wife, then that will not be taxed. So this is why he's adopting the way to gift asset to his wife so that it will not be taxed. But is it illegal way or it is allowed by HMRC? Tell me, Yashika and Aryan. Now quickly respond. Is it illegal or is it allowed by HMRC to reduce tax like this? What about you, Aryan? Very good. So when it is a legal way, it's a tax avoidance or tax planning. Any of the terms can be used. Now, last case. Hi, Angel. A very good morning. The first action. A customer invoice was omitted from accounting records in order to push it into the taxable profits of the following tax year. Means what? I have sales during the year and I've got very high sales in the year. Very high sales means higher profits, higher taxes. I don't want to pay so much taxes. So what I'm doing here, I am removing the invoices, say from the month of March, and I'm shifting it to May. Actually, sales have taken place in the month of March only. But I am intentionally taking them to the month of May so that this year I will have lower profits. Next year I will have higher profits. Do you think it is recommended? Do you think it is legal way? Even when the sales have taken place in the month of March, I should record sales in the month of March only, right? But just because I don't want to pay more taxes, I'm shifting it to the next tax year. So that next tax year, I will pay taxes on them. Is this correct way, Yashika? So then if I ask you which is actually tax evasion activity, which is that activity which is not legal way, which is not allowed by HMRC, and which is wrong, which is an offense, Which is that one? Action 1 or action 2? Now you tell me, both of you. Aryan, you are saying option number 2 is illegal. Can I have you unmute? Quickly unmute yourself. No, no, please don't be sorry. I would just want to make you understand this again. Okay, so that I'll just have to make sure that you don't have doubts. Absolutely no need to be sorry. Let's have doubts resolution. Yeah, Arya, tell me.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Yeah, tell me where is the doubt?
वो मैम मैंने सुना नहीं था क्वेश्चन ढंग से तो इस वजह से थोड़ा गलत हो गया था
No issues, no issues. Are you clear? I will ask you the question again. My question is, which of this action amounts to tax evasion? Option 1 or option 2?
यस
Which
तो
one?
इसमें बता रहे हैं कि टैक्स कौन सा गलत है मतलब इलीगल वे
Exactly, evasion.
एक्शन 1
Correct? Now you understood it?
यस मैम
Very good. Very good.
ओके
Okay, very good. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, other questions I'll send you in the homework. I think I can have one more question discussion. Just a minute. Angel, today's session will be till this point only because it will just be a 2-hour session for today. For Wednesday onwards, we'll have 3-hour session. Okay, I'm giving you a question which you're going to solve right now. I think that there was some miscommunication. No, classes would start at 8 a.m. Okay, it was there in the WhatsApp channel. No worries. I'll communicate it to the team so that the classes are well informed to all of you, so that you don't have any queries. And don't worry, we had an orientation session. You will have recording uploaded. That is why I just took 2 hours today for the first session. Wednesday onwards, we'll have the class 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay, so it is the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you will have your taxes class. Okay, we'll just discuss these two questions. Okay, just two questions and then we'll be done for the day. Balance all questions we'll be able to do once we are more progressed in the syllabus. Question number 31, I want you to answer. Just tell me true or false. First one, tax evasion is illegal. Is it true or false? The statement. Quickly. And a quick response. Yashika, very good, Aryan. Very good, Vidisha. Yashika, why is it false? Have we not just discussed that tax evasion is illegal? Tax avoidance and planning is legal. Evasion means you are evading taxes. You're not following the legal ways. You're not following HMRC rules. So is this statement not true? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got it. No issues. Next one. Both tax evasion and tax avoidance are illegal. Is this statement true or false? Very good, Angel. Good, Vidisha. Good, Yashika. Aryan. Very good. Tax avoidance is legal, but it may fail if challenged in the courts of HMRC. What does this mean? The tax avoidance is legal, but however, if HMRC is not satisfied with the way that we have adopted, then it may, disallow that also. It may not allow us with that way. Yes or false? Very good, Vidisha. Very good, Aryan. Yashika and Angel. Very good. Yes, it can always be because as per it should satisfy HMRC. Tax evasion always involves providing HMRC with false information. Very interesting question. What do you think, Aryan and Yashika? Is it always involving HMRC with false information? True or false? I'll show you one pointer also here. Okay, so you're saying true. Let's check the answer. This is incorrect. Because you got this incorrect, three are correct, you will get zero. And why is this incorrect? Because it is not that you will always provide HMRC with false information. You can also have a case where you're evading taxes for not providing HMRC only with the information. It's not that I'm showing my employment income wrong. Instead of 20,000, I'm showing 10,000. It may be the case where I'm not showing only employment income. I'm not showing any income also. So it is not that false information is always there. It is no information is also there. Am I clear? When you're not giving only any information to HMRC, you're hiding every information. Like we took the example. Are we clear with this? Yes or no? So it was a very twisting, interesting question, right? Angel, are you clear? Aryan, Yashika? Guys, be quick. Be quick. Good. Interesting question, right? You'll have like this. And the best part, and the most disturbing part is even if you got three options correct, one wrong, still you'll get zero. Okay, the next one. Come on. The last question for today. Which two of the following statements are correct about how your firm should deal with the suggestion from Ernest? Okay, uh, I'll just edit this question. Which of the two statements are correct about how your firm should deal with the suggestion from Ernest that no disclosure is made to HMRC of his capital gain? It basically means that if a fraudulent activity is carried out by the client, okay, and they've made no disclosure of HMRC about the capital gain, then what you should do? Ernest is your client, okay? Ernest is your client. The client has not made any disclosure to HMRC about the capital gains. They have hidden this information, okay? Then what is the correct two ways that you will adopt? We have just discussed the tax evasion activities. This is the tax evasion where is not disclosed information of capital gains to the HMRC. The four steps that we discussed. Tell me which of the two are correct. Which of the two are correct? Read thoughtfully and and Aryan and Yashika, I'm expecting your rewards. You have doubts, still you will go give your rewards. Even if you're wrong, I will correct you. Don't worry for that. Aryan, I want your input. Which are the two correct ways? Remember the four-step process: persuade the client, resign, inform to HMRC without giving the reason, prepare a money laundering report. Okay? So tell me which are the two options that you are correct. Okay. Wonderful, you all are correct. I hope you all are giving the answers because you understood it and not because your friends are giving the answer. Absolutely correct. Okay, any doubts, any questions till this point? Okay, so I'll stop here for today. And I think there is some communication gap. Lubna and Angel, the link that I can see in the WhatsApp channel group is for 8 a.m. only. No worries, today we just had an orientation session and a discussion of chapter 1. I want you to go through the notes, go through the recording before Wednesday's session. Okay? As and when it is uploaded, please go through the same. Because Wednesday session, we will be discussing about income tax computations and how to calculate income tax liabilities and all that. Okay, we'll be doing that. Now, Aryan, Yashika, and Vidisha, any questions and queries that you have? Were you able to fully understand the session? Please tell me in the chat box. You have even slightest of any query? No issues. I think no, there is no group, Angel. There is a link available for everyone where you have to join the WhatsApp channel. Please join it because all updates are there only. Now, one thing I've observed with many students, they always say, ma'am, why don't you give lectures in Hindi? First, at VGLD, we don't give lectures in Hindi. Secondly, you are doing a foreign course. It's a UK CA, right? So the point is you should be well versed with English language. So I really request you to not try to have Hindi language to make you understand because examination paper is also completely in English, right? So you have to take efforts to understand English language in case if it is a challenge. And I'm there to support. So if you need any understandings, better so that what do you call it removes the language barrier, please you can get in touch with me. I'll help you out for the same. Okay, and any concerns, any queries for the sessions, for the classes, the technical side, please get in touch with me. I'll take your queries. Okay, let's meet on Wednesday and I will ensure that the notes and everything is communicated well in time to all of you. Okay, so let's meet on Wednesday, 8 a.m. Before that, please give a recap of the notes so we can do more questions in the class. Okay, bye bye, take care. See you at 8 a.m. on Wednesday.